Being on camera is a pretty overwhelming experience. While your view might be behind the scenes, looking through a camera, seeing a beautifully framed image, their view is of camera equipment and lights, and most likely people, and people who are looking only at you to perform what you need to perform. I promise you, the more you can keep your talent relaxed on set, the way better your day is gonna go. So here are the best tips that I have and that I use while I'm directing. Tip number one is talking about coverage. When we do scripted content that most likely has a teleprompter, there is gonna be mess ups that happen. And what I like to avoid is never picking up exactly where they messed up. You always wanna pick a sentence or two prior to do the pickup to help the editor find and have range of finding a clean spot to hide that cut. What I look for is a clean sentence that has a new thought that could be clean to do a camera change, or a part of a sentence that's prior that makes sense of coming out of a B-roll shot so that, again, we can hide that cut. When it comes to more question and answer content, I've seen this so many times, especially in corporate question and answer stuff where we're asking really complex questions, which needs complex answers. There's been times where on paper, we would get an answer that's like 8 sentences long. That's a long time. And the first 4 sentences are gold, like really well delivered, very well executed, and then they mess up. And what we want to avoid is during that mess up halfway through is to tell our talent to go right back from the start because you think you need a full one take clean shot of this answer. We want to be mindful of the momentum that our talent is trying to create of getting this answer out. Then and only then, once that answer is fully complete, think to yourself, and as an editor, can I do this? Can I Frankenstein this together? Can I hide the cuts? Can I hide the pickups? If you're not confident in that, that's fine. Then we go back to the start and ask talent to do another read through. And this is beneficial because at least now talent has a full read through under their belt and they feel more confident of doing another take versus trying to stop their momentum once they messed up halfway just to go back to the beginning when they couldn't get their full thought out. It will definitely save you a lot of time, and staying engaged with your talent on camera like that is super beneficial. My next tip is to have a keen eye on your shots. Now, more specifically, and how I want to relate this into this point is really just focusing on interview shots. What I like to do is, instead of just looking at the shot, be like, oh yeah, that looks good, really dissect and audit the shot that you have. If there's a lav microphone on an interview subject, make sure that looks nice and neat and tidy. If they're wearing glasses, make sure that there's no reflections or even any pictures or glass in the background that could reflect behind the scenes people or gear. Those are things that we can look for to make sure that we can keep our shot perfect. I always like to look at geometrical shapes, especially in the background of my shots, so that if you were to look at the shot for the first time, just like that, how would your natural instinct feel? Would it feel like this is a pleasing shot, or would you go, ugh? So really the main point out of all of this is just to not look at your shot and be like, yeah, it looks good. Really audit the shot. Look at your borders, look at the foreground, look at the background, and more specifically in the background, make sure things fit in your background very geometrically and pleasing. The last tip that I have talks about respect. Leave that ego at the door. When we work behind the scenes of a creative medium, it needs to be collaborative. Problems will come up and solutions will have to be made, and most likely as a team. Understand when to be a director and be firm on your beliefs, but there is absolutely no need to bring any attitude with it. I mean, when I say this, it maybe sounds like I'm talking about a director and camera operator or director and DP role, but more often than not, it's usually just collaboration and problem solving with a producer and or client who's bringing something to your attention that you need to collaborate with the camera operator or DP to try and find that solution. So keeping that open mindset, listening to other people's advice, and not being on your high horse of saying that you're the director and it's your way or the highway. Be the person that people want to solve problems with.